Ladies and gentlemen, every morning you wake up is proof that God isn't finished with you yet. Before the phone lights up, before the noise of the world rushes in, before fear starts talking and doubt starts whispering, there is a moment, and that moment is your opportunity to put God first. Every morning you wake up is a fresh beginning, a clean page, a new opportunity given to you by God. The fact that your eyes open today is not random. It is intentional. Before the world starts demanding your attention, before responsibilities, pressure, and expectations rush in, there is a sacred window of time where your spirit is most open. That moment matters more than most people realize. What you do first sets the tone for everything that follows. When you put God first in the morning, you are declaring who is in control of your life. You are saying, I don't have all the answers, but I trust the one who does. Too many people start their day reacting instead of aligning. They wake up already stressed, already behind, already overwhelmed, not because the day is too heavy, but because they stepped into it without spiritual direction. Putting God first is not about religion or routine. It's about relationship. It's about acknowledging the source of your strength before you spend it. Just like a phone needs to be charged before it can function properly, your spirit needs to be connected before you face the demands of the day. If you skip that connection, you may still move, but you'll move drained, impatient, and unfocused. When God is first, your mindset changes. Instead of asking, how am I going to get through this? You begin to say, God, lead me through this. That shift alone can reduce anxiety, calm your thoughts, and give you confidence. The problems may still be there, but they won't control you. Peace doesn't come from the absence of trouble. It comes from knowing God is present in it. Many people want God's blessings, but they rush past God himself. They want protection, success, clarity, and favor, yet they don't take time to listen, pray, or express gratitude. When you put God first every morning, you create space for him to guide your decisions. You avoid unnecessary mistakes, wrong conversations, and emotional reactions that cost you later. Starting your day with God also builds discipline. It teaches you to prioritize what matters most, even when life is busy. You won't always feel motivated. Some mornings you'll be tired, distracted, or discouraged. That's exactly why it's important. Faith grows through consistency, not convenience. When you show up, even when you don't feel like it, you are strengthening your trust in God. Putting God first also keeps your ego in check. It reminds you that success is not just about talent or effort, but about grace. When things go well, you stay humble. When things go wrong, you don't fall apart. You understand that God is working even when you don't see immediate results. Over time, this habit changes your life. You become more patient. You respond instead of react. You begin to hear God's direction more clearly. Opportunities align, relationships improve, and your inner peace becomes stronger than external pressure, not because life becomes perfect, but because your foundation becomes solid. When you put God first every morning, you are investing in your future self. You are choosing clarity over confusion, faith over fear, and purpose over panic. One quiet moment with God can carry you through an entire day. And when you make that choice daily, it doesn't just change your mornings, it transforms your life. Most people don't realize that the greatest battles they face each day begin in the mind. Before anything happens externally, something happens internally. Doubt speaks, fear shows up, anxiety rushes in, and suddenly the day feels heavy before it even starts. That's why putting God first every morning is not just a spiritual act, it's a mental reset. It's how you reclaim control over your thoughts before the world tries to control them for you. When you wake up and immediately focus on problems, notifications, or responsibilities, your mind goes into survival mode. You start reacting instead of thinking clearly. But when you invite God into your morning, you slow your thoughts down. You give your mind a foundation to stand on. Instead of chaos leading your thinking, faith takes the lead. Putting God first trains your mind to trust instead of panic. It reminds you that you are not carrying the weight of the day alone. Many people feel exhausted not because they are doing too much physically, but because they are carrying too much mentally. They're trying to figure everything out, fix everything, and control outcomes that were never meant to be controlled by them. Morning prayer releases that burden. When you begin your day with God, you give him permission to guide your thoughts. That guidance shows up in small but powerful ways. You think before you speak. You pause before reacting. You choose wisdom over emotion. These moments may seem insignificant, but they protect your peace and prevent unnecessary damage in your relationships, work, and decisions. The mind is like a field. Whatever you plant in it early will grow throughout the day. If you plant fear, you'll harvest stress. If you plant gratitude, you'll harvest peace. If you plant faith, you'll harvest confidence. Putting God first every morning is how you choose what you plant. It's how you replace negative thinking with spiritual clarity. Some mornings will test you. You'll wake up feeling discouraged, disappointed, or unsure about the future. That's when putting God first matters the most. Instead of letting yesterday's pain spill into today, you bring it to God. You say, I don't understand everything, but I trust you. That surrender clears mental clutter and gives you emotional strength. Putting God first also sharpens your focus. When your mind is aligned with God, distractions lose their power. You stop chasing everything and start moving with intention. You become clear about what deserves your energy and what doesn't. That clarity helps you avoid burnout because you're no longer wasting mental energy on things that don't matter. Over time, this habit rewires your thinking. You stop assuming the worst. You stop overthinking every outcome. You develop a calm confidence that doesn't depend on circumstances. Even when challenges come, your mind stays anchored. That's not weakness. That's spiritual strength. People will notice the difference. They'll see how you handle pressure, how you stay calm in stressful situations, and how you make wise decisions. What they're seeing is the result of alignment. When God leads your mind, confusion fades and purpose becomes clear. Putting God first every morning is how you protect your mental health. It's how you start each day from a place of peace instead of panic. You won't control everything that happens, but you will control how you think about it. And when your mind is guided by God, your life begins to move with clarity, strength, and direction. Putting God first every morning is also about surrendering control. One of the biggest sources of stress in people's lives is the need to control everything. Control the outcome, control people, control timing, control success. From the moment the day begins, many people carry the pressure of being responsible for how everything turns out. That weight was never meant for you to carry alone. When you put God first, you release that burden. You acknowledge that while you have responsibility, God has authority. You do your part, but you trust him with the results. That mindset shift changes how you move through the day. You stop forcing situations and start flowing with purpose. You stop panicking over delays and start trusting timing. Morning surrender doesn't mean giving up on your goals. It means giving up the illusion that you are in complete control. You can plan, prepare, and work hard, but there are variables beyond your power. When you invite God into your morning, you're saying, God, I trust you with what I can't handle. That trust brings peace that effort alone cannot produce. Many people pray only when things go wrong, but putting God first every morning means inviting him into your life before the problems show up. It's preventive, not reactive. It's asking for wisdom before the decision, patience before the test, and strength before the challenge. That preparation makes you stronger when pressure comes. Surrender also teaches humility. It reminds you that success is not just about talent, intelligence, or hustle. It's about grace. When God opens doors, you walk through them with gratitude instead of pride. When doors close, you don't see it as rejection, but protection. That perspective saves you from unnecessary frustration and disappointment. Putting God first helps you handle uncertainty. Life doesn't always give clear answers. There are seasons where you don't know what next, where progress feels slow and where prayers seem unanswered. Surrender in the morning keeps you grounded during those seasons. It tells your heart, even if I don't see the full picture, God does. There will be moments when things don't go as planned. Meetings fall apart. Opportunities disappear. People disappoint you. Without surrender, those moments can derail your entire day. With surrender, they become redirections instead of roadblocks. You remain steady because your trust is not in circumstances, but in God. Morning surrender also frees your emotions. You stop carrying resentment, anger, and frustration into the day. You give those feelings to God before they poison your thoughts and actions. That emotional release allows you to show up with patience, kindness, and clarity, even in difficult situations. Over time, surrender becomes a strength. You develop resilience because you're not shaken by every change. You understand that delays don't mean denial and setbacks don't mean failure. You become flexible, adaptable, and calm under pressure. Putting God first every morning doesn't mean life becomes easy. It means life becomes manageable. You stop living from a place of fear and start living from a place of trust. You move through your day knowing that God is guiding your steps, even when the path isn't clear. When you surrender control to God each morning, you don't lose power, you gain peace, and that peace becomes your foundation no matter what the day brings. Putting God first every morning also builds consistency and discipline is what separates intention from transformation. Many people have good intentions. They want to live better, think better, grow spiritually, and succeed in life, but intention without discipline never produces lasting change. The morning is where discipline is formed, and what you practice there shapes who you become. When you choose God first in the morning, you are training yourself to prioritize what matters most, not what feels easiest. Comfort says stay in bed. Distraction says check your phone. Pressure. E says rush into the day. Discipline says pause and align your spirit before you move. That choice, repeated daily, strengthens your character. Consistency in the morning creates stability throughout the day. Even when life feels unpredictable, your morning practice becomes an anchor. It reminds you that some things are non-negotiable. You may not control everything that happens, but you can control how you start. That sense of order brings confidence and clarity. Putting God first also develops patience. In a world that demands instant results, taking time with God teaches you to slow down and listen. You learn that not every answer comes immediately, and not every problem needs to be solved right away. Patience helps you avoid impulsive decisions that can cost you later. Discipline in the morning carries over into other areas of life. When you learn to be faithful in a quiet moment with God, you become more focused at work, more present in relationships, and more intentional with your time. You stop wasting energy and start using it wisely. Small, disciplined actions lead to big outcomes. Some mornings will feel dry. You may not feel inspired or emotionally connected. That's normal. Discipline is not about feelings. It's about commitment. Growth happens when you show up anyway. Those are the moments when your faith deepens because you're not relying on emotion, you're relying on trust. Putting God first also teaches self-control. You become more aware of your reactions, words, and habits. Instead of being driven by impulse, you're guided by purpose. That control protects your reputation, your peace, and your progress. Discipline with God in the morning also prepares you for pressure. When challenges arise, you're not scrambling for strength. You've already built it. You've already centered yourself. You've already reminded your spirit who is in charge. That preparation allows you to respond with wisdom instead of stress. Over time, this discipline shapes your identity. You become someone who is grounded, reliable, and spiritually strong. You don't collapse under pressure because your foundation is solid. People trust you because you're consistent, not just talented. Putting God first every morning is not about perfection. It's about practice. You won't do it perfectly every day, but the effort itself produces growth. Each morning you choose discipline over distraction. You're investing in the person you're becoming. That daily commitment changes your life slowly, then suddenly. One day you realize you're calmer, wiser, and more focused than you used to be. Not because life got easier, but because you became stronger. And it all started with a disciplined choice to put God first every morning. Putting God first every morning also strengthens your ability to hear direction. One of the biggest frustrations people have in life is not knowing what to do next. They feel stuck, confused, or uncertain about decisions involving career, relationships, finances, or purpose. Often, the problem isn't that God isn't speaking, it's that life is too noisy to hear him. The morning is one of the quietest times of the day. Your mind is not yet overloaded, and your spirit is more receptive. When you give that time to God, you create space for clarity. You stop rushing for answers and start listening for guidance. That shift changes the quality of your decisions. When God is first, your decisions become wiser, not rushed. You begin to sense when something feels right or when something doesn't align with your values. That discernment saves you from costly mistakes. Many people look back on their lives and realize that one rushed decision changed everything. Morning alignment helps prevent those moments. Putting God first also sharpens you, our sense of purpose. Instead of chasing everything, you become more focused on what you are called to do. You stop comparing your journey to others. You understand that your path is unique, and you learn to move at the pace God has set for you. That confidence brings peace. Hearing direction from God doesn't always come as a loud voice or dramatic sign. Often it comes as a gentle nudge, a calm thought, or a sense of peace about a decision. When you put God first every morning, you become more sensitive to those signals. You learn to recognize when God is redirecting you or confirming your steps. This daily alignment also improves your timing. You learn when to move and when to wait. Many opportunities are missed not because people lack ability, but because they move too early or too late. God's guidance helps you act at the right time. That timing makes all the difference. Putting God first also protects you from distraction. Not every opportunity is a good opportunity. Not every open door is meant for you. When your spirit is aligned with God, you don't feel pressured to say yes to everything. You gain the courage to say no when necessary, knowing that the right opportunities will come. Over time, this practice builds trust between you and God. The more you listen, the more confident you become in following his direction. Even when the path doesn't make sense, you move forward with peace because you trust the source of the guidance. There will be seasons when direction feels unclear. That doesn't mean God has left you. Sometimes silence is preparation. Morning alignment keeps you patient during those times. It reminds you that waiting is also a form of obedience. Putting God first every morning transforms confusion into clarity. You begin to move with intention instead of guesswork. Your decisions align with your values, your actions reflect your faith and you. Our life begins to flow with purpose. When God directs your steps, you waste less time, avoid unnecessary detours, and walk confidently into the future. That clarity doesn't come from doing more. It comes from starting each day by putting God first. Putting God first every morning ultimately transforms your entire life because it changes who you become before it changes what you do. Many people focus on external success, money, status, recognition, but neglect the internal foundation required to sustain it. When God is first, your inner life is strengthened, and that strength carries into every area of your life. Starting your day with God shapes your character. It builds integrity, humility, and gratitude. You become more aware of your actions and their impact on others. Instead of being driven solely by ambition, you're guided by purpose. That alignment ensures that success doesn't cost you your peace, your relationships, or your values. Putting God first also deepens your faith over time. Faith is not built in emergencies. It is built in consistency. Daily connection with God creates a steady trust that doesn't collapse when challenges arise. When problems show up, and they will, you don't fall apart. You stand firm because your confidence is rooted in something greater than circumstances. This daily practice also changes how you treat people. When your heart is aligned with God, you become more patient, more compassionate, and more understanding. You listen better. You judge less. You forgive quicker. That shift improves your relationships at home, at work, and in your community. People feel safe around you because you carry peace instead of pressure. Putting God first every morning also increases resilience. Life will test you. There will be setbacks, delays, and disappointments. Without a strong spiritual foundation, those moments can break you. With God at the sea, they shape you instead. You learn from failure without being defined by it. You grow through adversity without losing hope. As your inner life becomes stronger, your confidence grows. Not the loud, arrogant kind of confidence, but a quiet assurance. You know who you are and whose you are. You stop seeking validation from others because your identity is anchored in God. That freedom allows you to move boldly without fear of judgment. Over time, this daily alignment creates lasting change. You don't just have good days, you become a grounded person. Your emotions stabilize, your reactions mature, your decisions improve. People begin to see consistency in you, not just moments of motivation. Putting God first also helps you finish well. Many people start strong but lose focus along the way. Daily connection with God keeps you centered on the long-term vision. It reminds you why you started and who you are becoming. That perspective helps you stay faithful even when progress feels slow. Life becomes more meaningful when God is first. You find joy in small moments. Gratitude replaces complaining. Purpose replaces pressure. Even ordinary days feel significant because you're living with intention. Putting God first every morning is not about checking a box or following a rule. It's about building a life that is strong from the inside out. It's about becoming someone who can handle success, withstand adversity, and live with peace. When God is first, everything else finds its proper place. And when that alignment becomes your daily habit, it doesn't just improve your mornings, it transforms your life.